Large crowd from J.A. Fair, but a good crowd again tonight to watch the Benton Panthers. Panthers getting set to come out on the field, running through their homecoming banner. It says homecoming 91. And as we said, always a lot of excitement here. And again, looking forward to a great ball game. Well, taking a quick look, Mike, at some of the leading up to this ball game. Lost my train of thought here, what I was trying to say. The Panthers, a real important ball game. Right now, the Panthers looking real good in the conference. And again, coming over off of this big win over Texarkana, needing one tonight to keep the momentum going because they are going to play Pine Bluff, the new team here in the conference. And Pine Bluff ranked number 2 in the state, so it's going to be a good ball. So this could serve as a pivotal ball game again for the Panthers.
John, you've hit exactly on what Coach Fight told me today. This ball game is going to be a turning point for one team or the other. When you really get down to it and really look at things, every team in the 4A South is in the hunt for the playoff contention. And that being because this year we're going to take 4 teams, as we've mentioned. The big thing that the Panthers want to do is they felt at the beginning of this year, John, that they had the ability to win the 4A South Championship, even against Pine Bluff, Watson Chapel, and El Dorado, and Texarkana, of course. Now the War Eagles last week, by beating Bryant, felt like that, hey, we have the ability to play in the 4A South. Bryant, of course, is still in a training program and getting built back up, but Bryant was snuck up on last week by a couple of big plays and long plays by the War Eagles. And the Panthers tonight, though, really, Dwight Fight has instilled this in them all week long. Keep your head up, keep your confidence level up, do just exactly what you did last week, and things will work out for you. We've got a little mix-up down here. The War Eagles are lined up on the wrong end of the field, but to kind of recap for folks, the Panthers did win the toss and will be taking the opening kickoff from the left end or the left side of your radio dial. The War Eagles will be kicking from the right side. And, John, I think you want to go over the starting lineups before we begin.
Let's take a look, first of all, at the War Eagles starting offense tonight. The split end is Neil Andrews, the right tackle Patrick Barnett. Doyle Moore is the right guard. Joel Shealy is the center. The left side now is left guard Scott Hurst, left tackle Corey Vanderbilt, tight end Garland Washington. The quarterback is Walter McIntosh. The fullback is Quincy Relaford. Richard Warner is the halfback, and the tailback is Torrance Jones. John Graves is the deep man for the Benton Panthers. And I think my watch must be a little slow because or they're getting out on the field just a little bit ahead of schedule. Getting ready to kick this ball game off for J.A. Fair. We'll get his name for you just as quick as we can. May not get it before the kickoff. It's an end-over-end boot that will go hit on the 5, bounce over the head of Jumper and into the end zone as Leon Tolbert really puts his toe into the ball, and the Panthers will start from the 20.
Johnny, I'd like to make mention here at the first of the ball game that the coaches this week feel like Judd Fight is at his first week of being 100%. He was very, very quick during practice this week. And, of course, our offense generates around the fullback, and anytime our fullback is working real good, the rest of our offense tends to gel together.
Judd Fight, along with Rico Land and Tommy Burton, open up in the full house wishbone with Paige Eccles at the control. Fight gets the first call. He's up to the 21-yard line, and Aaron Smith makes the stop for J.A. Fair. The rest of the Panthers out there tonight are Michael Grant, the tight end, John Graves, the split end, Scott Rivers and Michael Beggs are the tackles, Reed Kaufman and Brian Sims are the guards, and Bo Cheney is the center. It's a gain of 2. So mark his forward progress to the 22, second down and 8 yards to go. The ball in the middle of the field, and the Panthers moving from left to right here in the first quarter. They give it to Burton with a big hole across the 25, and Burton carries up to the 28.5-yard line, and on the stop is Chris Elliott for J.A. Fair. And so Burton will leave the Panthers with a third and short situation, third down and 1.
John, the War Eagles on the first 2 plays from the line of scrimmage defensively have made very, very hard licks on our ball carriers. It shows that these guys do know how to play football and can make the contact at the point of attack.
Panthers running out of the wishbone. They give it to Burton again. He's got to hold the 30, the 35, and Tommy Burton carries up to the 37-yard line for a Benton Panther 1st and 10. Chris Elliott on the tackle along with Rodney Allen for J.A. Fair. So Benton blasting and sticking to the ground game. And I want to take a minute and talk about Paige Eccles, who had just an outstanding ball game last week against Texarkana.
He had a fantastic ball game, John. That's really a small way to describe it. He held everything together just like he should. And thus far tonight is really doing a good job.
Well, there's a flag on the field as the call goes to fight as he's up to the 37-yard line. And hit for the middle of the line, led by Scott Hurst for J.A. Fair. And let's see what the penalty is.
John, one thing we need to keep in mind is we get a illegal procedure penalty against the Panthers. It'll be brought back 5 yards and a redoing of the down. But anytime that they want to key on our fullback like they are thus far tonight, it's going to open up the rest of the ball game. Tommy Burton had 2 carries off the right side of the line that got substantial yardage, mainly because their linebackers are keying on our fullback, and it's leaving the hole for the other backs to run the ball.
Pardon me, 5-man front now for Fair and the wishbone. Ball on the near side hash marks. Back to pass goes Eccles. This time Page is going to be thrown for a loss back on the 29-yard line as Roderick Blackman got through to bring down the Benton quarterback. He was looking for John Graves streaking down the left sideline, and we have a Benton Panther slowly getting up.
John, it's Paige Eccles. That'll be a tough call for the Panthers. Blake Jumper and Darren Adams have worked at quarterback. Of course, Blake Jumper's in the ball game right now, and it was hard to see exactly what happened to Paige on that, but he took an awful hard lick. That's the 3rd time we've seen here tonight that the War Eagles have just made some horrendous hits on the Panther ball carriers. These young men from J.A. Fair have come down here to play this ball game and play to the best of their ability.
Well, we have Paige Eccles down on the turf. That does not look good. That's a bad sign here. They're working on him, and we have a timeout here breaking the action. Now Eccles will get up, and he will come off the field under his own steam. So 3rd down coming up for the Panthers and 17 yards to go as Eccles comes off.
John, I believe we're going to go ahead and punt the ball away. I don't think they want to take a chance of having a bad exchange between the center and the quarterback, and it does look like on 3rd down we are going to give the ball up.
So Darren Adams drops back to the 17-yard line to punt the ball, and back deep for J.A. Fair is Torrance Jones. He's standing on the 45-yard line. There's the snap from center. There is the punt. It's a spiraling, driving punt that Jones takes on the 29, falls down on the 30-yard line, and there's a flag on the play.
Now we've got a clip. It was immediately after the ball carrier caught the ball. One of the J.A. Fair players hit Michael Grant in the back, and it was, I'll tell you, I don't know why they do it right in front of the referee, but they always do. And of course we'll take it because it'll be a 15-yarder and put J.A. Fair deeper in their own end of the territory. And I tell you, if the Panther defense cranks up tonight like they did last week, we can make things happen with our defense.
Well, that's the truth, and Brent Black was in on that last tackle. Speaking of the Panther defense, Ira Smith is the nose guard. Tackles are Danny Van Cleve and Matt Bowen. The ends are Bryson Tittle and Michael Grant. The linebackers are Trevor Oswalt and Brent Black. Cornerback will either be Kevin McConnell or Brandon Harklow on one side. Chris Thomas is the other. Darren Adams and Blake Jumper are in the defensive secondary. Up to the line of scrimmage comes J.A. Fair. The quarterback for the War Eagles is Walter McIntosh. And they run out of the I formation. Torrance Jones is the tailback, and the fullback is Relaford. They give the ball to Relaford as he takes it up across the 15-yard line, and not much there, up to about the 16, almost to the 17-yard line. And on the tackle for the Benton Panthers, Danny Van Cleve. It's a gain of 2, 2nd down, and 8 yards to go for J.A. Fair. So the Benton Panther defense looking good here. One play, 9:31 to go, no score in the first quarter. Up to the line of scrimmage comes Walter McIntosh and company, again running his ball club out of the I formation. Here's the snap. They give it now to the tailback up to the 19 to the 20-yard line. Goes Torrance Jones and hit hard by the Benton Panthers' Trevor Oswalt on the initial tackle for Benton. It's a gain of a couple of 3 more, making it 3rd down now and 6 yards to go.
John, that was as good a lick by linebackers we've seen all year long. Our defensive line did a great job of keeping the line surge off of our linebackers, and Trevor Oswalt made a fantastic tackle. They'll show that on the film tomorrow several times.
Warner in the slot to the right. They pitch the ball to Jones. Jones spinning. Jones on the 20 and carries up all the way to the 24-yard line before the Benton Panthers make the stop. And on the tackle is Darren Adams for the Panthers, and Benton will stop J.A. Fair 2 yards short on the third down play. So 4th and 2, and the War Eagles will punt the ball away. John Graves is the deep man, and back to punt the ball for the Benton, for the J.A. Fair War Eagles. We'll get his name in a minute. Hits the ball on the 15-yard line, puts it high in the air. Graves getting under it on the 48-yard line and hit immediately. They'll spot it back on the 47 as Richard Warner came through there to make a tackle, and give Graves a lot of credit because he had the guts to stand there and field that ball without calling for the fair catch.
Yeah, he did, John. I think he felt like he could get away from the first defender coming downfield, and J.A. Fair again showing a good technique football team and made a good open field tackle on John Graves.
Well, they put it back on the 46-yard line, far side hash marks. And the Panthers come up to the line here, running out of the wing tee for their second offensive drive. And they give the ball to Fight. Judd tripped up right on, actually for a loss of 2, back on the 44-yard line as Michael Oliver comes through for the War Eagles. So it'll be 3rd down and 12 yards to go for the Panthers on the next play.
John, it looked like a little delay to the fullback that time, but we're just not right now. Our line's not settled in. Our offensive line is not settled in and making the block and sustaining the blocks like they need to do.
Burton and Jumper on the wings with Fight at fullback, and quick pass out of the end zone, or out of the backfield, incomplete. Trying to get the ball to Glenn Tyson, and Chris Elliott covering on the play for J.A. Fair. So it will be 3rd down now and 12 yards to go for the Benton Panthers.
That was just a little quick out to the tight end. The tight end released off the line of scrimmage and just kind of floated out into the flat. And the ball was well thrown. Glenn Tyson just couldn't hold on to it. I think the excitement of knowing one was coming to him just overwhelmed him.
Graves lining up now on the left wing as Eccles pitches to Judd Fight, trying to sweep. Fight hit back on the 44-yard line, and J.A. Fair, 1-2-3, has stopped the Benton Panthers. Tracy Jones coming in for the War Eagles that time. So it was 1-2-3 as J.A. Fair knocked out the Panthers on that drive.
I'll tell you one thing the Benton Panthers don't want to do tonight is allow J.A. Fair to build a strong momentum. If they build a strong momentum, it'll be real tough for the Panthers to get in this and stay in the ball game.
Torrance Jones is the deep man standing on the 20-yard line, and here's Darren Adams' punt. And he has a nice spiral that drives Jones back to the 16-yard line, up to the 20, to the 25, to the 26-yard line goes Torrance Jones, and on the stop was Rico Land, in on the kamikaze squad for the Benton Panthers. And so J.A. Fair will start now from a little bit better than they started a while ago. No penalties, no flags down, so they'll have it on the 26.5-yard line, 1st down and 10.
John, as always, if your defense is going to be a demanding force in your ball game, the defense has got to make turnovers and make things to happen. And Benton tonight, very aware of that. And I tell you, these young men were fired up when they come out on the field, and I believe they're going to pull things together on this series. Let's watch it.
They give it to Torrance Jones across the 30, and Jones carries up to the 34-yard line, and Reed Kaufman makes the stop for the Benton Panthers. A gain of 7 yards on the carry, 2nd and 3 coming up here for J.A. Fair. So they move the ball out to the 34-yard line. 6:31 to play in the first quarter of the ball game. No score as of yet. Ball on the far side hash marks. The Panthers are set with a 5-man front. Up to the line of scrimmage comes J.A. Fair, led by Walter McIntosh, running out of the I formation. Far side hash marks. They give it quick draw to the fullback, and that time Quincy Relaford, did he lose the ball? No, I heard a roar from the crowd there, but he was stopped right on the 35, almost the 35-yard line, as Brent Black makes the stop. So still 3rd down and 3 yards to go for the War Eagles.
That roar you heard, John's a wave. We're getting a wave started here at the Panthers. And I didn't take my motion sickness pill before I came. I hope I don't get sick.
Tell you what, coming up in the world now with a wave here. Goodness. Up to the line comes McIntosh and company. On 3rd down, they give it to Jones, and Torrance Jones is not going to make the 1st and 10. He's hit on the 35.5-yard line. He needed to get to the 37 for the 1st, and the Panther defense is held. Darren Adams makes the stop for Benton. Also, Trevor Oswald was in there from the linebacker.
John, what happened that time is J.A. Fair really did beat us at the line of scrimmage with our on our left side, but Darren Adams and Brandon Harklaw and Oh, we got a flag here. I believe it may be delay of the ball game on J.A. Fair. But the defensive secondary and linebackers for the Panthers come up and made an excellent play and held them to make them punt again.
Well, John Graves is back deep for the Benton Panthers. He'll walk off a 5-yard penalty against J.A. Fair, putting the ball back on the 31-yard line for illegal procedure. And Richard Warner will punt the ball again, this time from 5 yards back further, standing on the 16-yard line to get the punt away. Panthers lining everybody up on the line of scrimmage. Going for the block. The rush is on. The punt is blocked. It'll be downed on the 30-yard line. And coming up to down the ball is Bryson Tittle for the Benton Panthers. And now Benton with an opportunity here as they have the ball on the 30-yard line on J.A. Fair's 30, 1st and 10.
John, a lot of times when I refer to the defense, that includes specialty teams, especially when we're going against or when we've got a punt return on. But our special teams this year have done this that I can remember, I believe, 3 times. That's excellent defense, any way you look at it.
Ball in the middle of the field as Rico Land comes in at one of the wings, and back to pass, rolling to the near side comes Paige Eccles. Now he's going to run, and Eccles is knocked down on the 33-yard line by Tracy Jones of J.A. Fair. Eccles wanted to throw, was looking downfield. All the receivers were covered, still made a little pump fake trying to stop the J.A. Fair onslaught there, but the War Eagles were not fooled, and Eccles is thrown for a 3-yard loss, so 2nd and 13 now for Benton. Ball spotted on the near side hash marks. The War Eagles set with a 5-man front. Benton running out of the double wing. Near side hash marks. Benton moving from left to right here in the first quarter. Eccles wants to throw, has time, looking downfield, puts the pass in the air. It's going to be incomplete. Intended for Tommy Burton and broken up nicely by J.A. Fair's Rodney Allen in the end zone, and Allen had an opportunity to intercept.
John, we've got excellent pass blocking at the line of scrimmage the last 2 plays. But J.A. Fair is so quick and fast in their secondary, and they've scouted us very, very well. You can tell that they have scouted us as good as any team has this year, and their defensive secondary is covering our receivers very well.
So Benton now looking at 3rd and 13. Eccles takes the ball, hands off Rico Land to Tommy Burton on the reverse. Burton doesn't get a handle on it, loses the ball back on the 38-yard line and could do nothing but fall down on top of it. And so it'll be 4th down now for the Panthers. And 20, well, let's make it about 17 yards to go as they'll have to punt the ball, but at least they can.
Going to try a field goal.
Going to try a field goal. As John Graves has the kicking tee on, and he'll put it on the 45-yard line, so it'll be a 55-yard attempt for John Graves.
He does have the foot, John, make no doubt about it, but that's a long field goal for high school football.
Kick is on the tee, it's on the way, and it's going to fall short into the end zone, and J.A. Fair will take it out on the 20-yard line, 1st down and 10 yards to go. Just a little bit out of Graves' range. And so with 3:23 to play in the first quarter, J.A. Fair will take it back over, and still no score in the ball game.
John, the Panthers really haven't lined up and done what they want to do tonight, and that's just absolutely run over J.A. Fair. And J.A. Fair has done a very, very good job here in this first quarter defensively, keeping our offense in check and intact. And, you know, in high school football, that wasn't a bad call to go for the field goal because the ball comes back out on the 20-yard line and not at the place from where it was snapped at.
War Eagles will call timeout here in the first quarter. We'll be back to C.W. Lewis Stadium in 1 minute. Back at C.W. Lewis Stadium as J.A. Fair McIntosh loses the ball, and the Benton Panthers have come up with it on the 21-yard line. Is coming up with it was Chris Thomas for the Benton Panthers.
John, we've got a special guest here in the booth with us tonight. It's Paul Ills, sports director for KTV Channel 7 in Benton. And Paul, I know y'all do a great job with high school football, and we're glad to have you down here at Benton tonight.
Well, you're most gracious. I wish I could stay and see the whole ball game. We go back and put together about 20 highlights, but so far in this game, it looks like Benton's creating its own breaks, and maybe they'll get something done in this play.
Paul, one question. Benton went in this week into the Super 7 poll as number 7, and tonight, where all do you have highlights coming from here in Central Arkansas?
Well, we've got all of the games in the Hot Springs area covered. The Benton game here, then we've got the game in Conway, and we've got News Star down at McGee. We've got two crews in the Dumas area, so we're kind of spread out throughout the Central Arkansas area tonight.
Paul, we're going to get back to the game, but you're very gracious to come over and visit with us, and we appreciate it.
Oh, it's super. Thank you, and good luck tonight to Benton.
Thank you very much.
Paul Eels, and Paul, appreciate you coming up here and visiting with us. Judd Fight with the call that time as Fight carries the ball down to about the 16, make it the 17-yard line, and that will set up a 3rd down and 4-yard situation for the Benton Panthers as they move over to the far side hash marks, and the ball spotted, as we said, on the 17. Graves is split to the wide side, and the Panthers lining up on the wishbone here for this play. 3rd down and 5 with 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter, no score. Eccles takes the ball, hands off Fight again inside the 15, and Judd Fight carries down to the 17-yard line. Still just a little bit short, Mike, of the 1st and 10.
John, I'm still excited over seeing Paul Ills. I've kind of left the ball game.
I tell you what, of course, Paul, as everybody knows, the voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and just a heck of a nice guy. Always glad to see him. Ball is spotted on the 12-yard line, and it's going to be 4th down and less than a yard to go, Mike, on this play. So up to the line of scrimmage comes the Benton Panthers, led by Paige Eccles, lining up on the wishbone, and a long count. Fair crosses as they give it to Fight, and the flags fly, and I think the Panthers have drawn the War Eagles offsides.
John, if they haven't, let's wait on the referee call. Offsides is going to be called against J.A. Fair, and they went ahead and ran the play and actually got it underway, and it was obvious Judd Fight did have the 1st down before the play was called in. But this is the time that Benton's got to capitalize right now and get points on the scoreboard.
Well, the ball, after they walk it off, will be on the 8-yard line. 1st down and goal to goal now for the Benton Panthers. Panthers trying to break the 0-0 deficit or deadlock. They give it to Judd Fight, down to the 5, down to the 3-yard line. And Chris Elliott kept Judd Fight out of the end zone that time, and Fight had the legs churning and a full head of steam up, and just not quite enough to get it into the end zone. So it will be 2nd down and 3 for the Benton Panthers, the ball on the 3.
Guarantee you Judd Fight's mad at himself right now. He's not a young man that lets one man bring him down, but there again it goes back to the efficiency of J.A. Fair's tackling ability. And
again, Fight gets the call. He's down to the 1. He's in, and the Benton Panthers have taken a 6-0 lead as Chris Elliott could not keep Judd Fight out of the end zone that time, as the Benton Panthers pull out to a 6-0 lead over the War Eagles.
John, it was just a straight handoff to the fullback over the right side of the line of scrimmage, and that involves Reed Kaufman, Scott Rivers, and Jake Fight that time was in it tight end. Our offensive line really has done a very good job overall tonight on pass protection. John Gray's extra point attempt is up and good, and it makes the Panthers now 7, the J.A. Fair War Eagles nothing, and we'll be back after a timeout.
We return to C.W. Lewis Stadium, where the Benton Panthers have pulled out to a 7-0 lead over the J.A. Fair War Eagles, and teeing the ball up is Reed Kaufman to kick off to J.A. Fair, and we'll get the deep man for J.A. as we can get it's going to be Roderick Blackman back on the 5-yard line to receive Kaufman's kickoff. Kind of hard to see the numbers on the jerseys of the Fair War Eagles. They're light-colored gray, so bear with us here. The ball's taken on the 5 to the 10 to the 15, and trying to get outside of the 20, spinning it up to the 25-yard line. Comes Roderick Blackman, and J.A. Fair will take it on the 27-yard line, first down and 10. Rico Land downfield quickly to make the tackle for the Benton Panthers. And so J.A. Fair starting off first down and 10, and they'll mark it on the 26-yard line.
John, our kickoff team is something that we've worked on this week. We've had a little problem with it against Texarkana, and, of course, against Malvern, we had the long run back against us. But thus far tonight, and in that time especially, our kickoff team did an excellent job of coverage.
Ball on the far side, hash marks. McIntosh takes the ball, hands off Jones. He's on the 30, got a little bit of running room up to the 35, the 40, and up to the 48, 49-yard line. 44-yard line goes the speedster Torrance Jones for Fair. Chris Thomas and Bryson Tuttle on the stop for the Benton Panthers.
Boy, John, that was a slashing run. J.A. Fair made a good hole on the right side of their line, and then the young man that ran the ball, Torrance Jones, that time, he got the additional yardage beyond the line of scrimmage purely on his own. Every time he'd get hit, he would roll out of the hit, go down on one hand and close to one knee, and he just kept going.
So we are now in the closing seconds, and now the quarter has come to an end as Fair comes up to the line of scrimmage. We've played 12 minutes here at C.W. Lewis Stadium, and Benton leads 7-0. We'll be back after this.
I'll tell you what, they're
Relaford on the carry. Oswald, flag is turned on the left tackle.
Well, while we were away, J.A. Fair runs a play and takes it up to the 44-yard line for a gain of about 2 yards. So make it second down, and let's make it a 1-yard gain. Second down and 9 for the War Eagles. Oswald in on that last tackle. Torrance Jones gets the call. The 45 midfield. Jones on the 45, the 40, and down to the Benton 38-yard line. And let me make a change here. That was Blackman running the ball, not Jones. Chris Thomas on the stop for the Panthers. It's a 1st and 10. So Roderick Blackman coming in to run that time in place of Torrance Jones.
John Benton's going to have to do some more, be more aggressive on their tackling at the line of scrimmage. We actually had him for about a 3-yard gain, and he just, under his own power, continued to roll.
Well, let's see what happens now as McIntosh takes the ball. Play action fake. Little pass trying to get it to the fullback coming out of the end zone, coming out of the backfield, rather. Quincy Relaford could not keep a handle on the ball, and Oswald was right there to cover on the play. So second down and 10 coming up for J.A. Fair as they have the ball on the Benton Panther 37-yard line, and this is the best field position Fair's had in the ball game.
By far it is, John, and once again, and we need to reiterate that the Benton Panthers definitely need to keep J.A. Fair down tonight and not let them get a leg up on them.
Torrance Jones still in a tailback here for J.A. Fair. Here's the snap. They give it to Jones on the 40. Jones hit and spun backwards on the 36-yard line, so a 1-yard gain, and hit by Chris Thomas for the Benton Panthers. Third down and 9 yards to go coming up now for J.A. Fair.
John, we've really, we've stayed pretty well with the same defensive alignment all year long, and basically the same players. Really the only adjustment on the Benton defense thus far has been Ira Smith at nose man, and they moved Danny Van Cleve to defensive tackle, and Brandon Harklaw has moved into the cornerback position. So the Panthers have been pretty solid defensively and stayed with the same unit.
Well, now we have Jones and, well, let's see what happens now as McIntosh flings it downfield, incomplete, and we get a pass interference call against one of the Benton Panthers. The pass was intended for Roderick Blackman, who had lined up at fullback on that play. He had Jones in at tailback and Harklow and Adams covering on the play, and I did not see which one of them made contact.
John, if I was a betting man, I'd almost, I started to say, I'm glad I didn't bet, because I started to say it'd be offensive pass interference, but actually it looked like the offensive man ran up on the back of Brandon Harklow, and that was just real close. Of course, in high school ball, it's a penalty from the line of scrimmage, a 15-yard penalty, and it is not from where the point of the foul took place.
Well, and actually that time, Blackman had fell down, and I thought, and of course not down on the field and can't see it as good as a referee can or could, but I certainly thought that Blackman had just tripped over his own feet. Oliver is now in at fullback for J.A. Fair. McIntosh takes the ball, pitches out to Blackman, hit back on the 23-yard line for a loss on the play, fumbled the ball, and then made his own recovery. Kevin McConnell there for the Benton Panthers.
John, Kevin McConnell came in that time at left cornerback for the Panthers, and Kevin played cornerback exactly the way you're supposed to. Anytime you see that it is a run developing and you feel certain that they're not going to do a halfback pass, the cornerback's got to come up and aid the defensive end on the sweep. Kevin McConnell played it as good that time as it could be played. That was a great job by Kevin.
Panthers with a 6-man front defensively. Up to the line of scrimmage comes J.A. Fair, looking at 2nd down and 12. 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. Benton 7, Fair nothing. On the near side hash marks, McIntosh wants to throw, looking, putting the pass up, incomplete, and off the fingertips of his intended receiver. The split in that time, Warner. And so it was Chris Thomas covering on the play once again. He's been picked on quite a bit tonight, and Thomas has played a good ball game here in the first half.
Thomas has done a good job all night long, and we can just be thankful that J.A. Fair's quarterback's not on, because his receiver was open that time, and it would have been a substantial gain if not a touchdown for the Fair War Eagles.
So 3rd and 12 for J.A. Fair. The ball on the Benton 22-yard line. 9:21 to go in the first half. Up to the line of scrimmage come the War Eagles. They'll send Richard Warner out to the wide side. I formation, ball on the near side hash mark, open field to the far side. And the pass incomplete as they tried to get it out to the tight end Neil Andrews that time. And Kevin McConnell on the corner covering again on the play for the Benton Panthers. So 4th down and 12 for J.A. Fair.
John, I watched during warm-ups to see if J.A. Fair had a substantial field goal kicker, and I never did see him go into that. I did see him kicking extra points, and he didn't seem to be extremely effective in the extra point area, so we could only think by the way the coaches are sending in a play that J.A. Fair is going to go for it.
McIntosh looking to the sideline. Ball on near side hash marks. Benton is set with a 5-man front defensively. 4th down and 12 for the War Eagles, and the 25-second clock down to 3 seconds. J.A. Fair is going to have to hurry as McIntosh takes the ball, looking downfield, and incomplete, and almost intercepted that time by Trevor Oswald, as the pass was intended for Andrews, and so it will be Benton taking over now on downs on the 22-yard line, 1st and 10, with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first half of the ball game. Benton out in front 7-0.
John Trevor Oswald saw the end zone is what he saw. He just took his eye off the ball for just a second, because had Trevor caught that ball, he would have been on a gallop to the end zone.
He sure would have. Well, Paige Eccles now has his ball club lined up in the wishbone. Ball on the near side hash marks. They give it to Burton. Burton looking. He's on the 25, the 30, and Tommy Burton rolls up to the 32-yard line, and just a little bit short of the 1st and 10. A 9-yard scamper by Burton. Rodney Allen for J.A. Fair on the tackle. No, it was a 1st and 10 as they mark his forward progress all the way up to the 33-yard line. So give him a 10-yard run that time for Burton, who really came into his own last week.
Tommy Burton began last week being the ball carrier we know him to be, and thus far tonight's done a very, very good job.
Ball on the near side hash marks up on the 33-yard line. Eccles trying to get the ball to the tight end Michael Grant, and it was broken up that time and almost intercepted by Doyle Moore of J.A. Fair. So it'll be 2nd and 10 coming up for the Benton Panthers on this next play.
We might ought to make mention, talking about Michael Grant, he and I had a conversation Wednesday over practice, and first thing he did was walked up to me and said, that ball didn't bounce. He caught it. He did a good catch. So, Michael, you caught the ball. We'll give you credit, and the referee said you did, and that's all that matters.
2nd and 10 as the flags fly before Judd Fight can get cranking, and let's see what this penalty is going to be. And I honestly do not know. Going to be some sort of maybe an offsides against Fair, looks like, and that's the preliminary signal, and the referee confirms it. So it'll be a 5-yard walk-off against the War Eagles, which will move the ball up to the 38-yard line and make it 2nd down and 5 yards to go for the Benton Panthers. These defenses trying to second-guess the Panthers, trying to move on that snap count, and they've tried to do that, all of them that we've seen thus far this year, and very few of them have been able to pull it off. So the ball up on the 38-yard line as Eccles takes it, hands off to Fight, has his legs cut out from underneath him on the 39-yard line by Tracy Jones of J.A. Fair. So we'll make it 3rd down and 4, or a long 3 for the Benton Panthers. They have the ball on the 39-yard line. Darren Adams will be the split receiver out wide to the far side. Open field to the right side of Paige Eccles, running out of the wishbone. Here's the snap. Eccles takes the ball, hands off to Fight as Judd Fight across the 40 up to the 42-yard line. And on the stop was Doyle Moore for J.A. Fair, and he needed to get up to the 43 for the 1st and 10, so it will be 3rd down and 1 coming up for the Benton Panthers. I'll make it 4th down and 1, and Darren Adams will come out on the field and punt the ball for the Benton Panthers.
John, you know, sometimes we stand up here and try to guess what's going to happen. This would be an awful good area of the football field for Benton to go for it and fake a punt. The officials are calling for a timeout right now, and I believe Benton's asking for a measurement to be able to see just exactly where the ball's setting so that they can plan their strategy.
Eccles right down there on the field taking a look at it, and the chain gang will come out. It's obviously a yard short. And one of the officials, it is the referee, falls down, and so we have a break in the action here as Dan Cathy for the Benton Panthers, trainer out on the field first. Now some of the Benton coaches come out there to see what's wrong with our referee tonight.
John, I believe the way it looked, and I certainly don't want to anticipate anything here, but I do believe the official had a heart attack. He was clutching his chest as he fell, and Dr. Stewart's out seeing him right now, and he's not in good shape at all.
We have a break in the action here as they are attending to tonight, the first time in a long time, we didn't get the listing of officials, so I don't know his name, but the referee, it is the referee, and he is down right now, and they're looking at him and attending. He's up actually on one knee, but they're talking with him right now. And tell you what, we'll take a break here. Let's pause here with a break in the action. Benton leading 7-0 here over the J.A. Fair War Eagles with 8 minutes even to play here in the first half of the ball game. We'll be back in 1 minute. Well, our referee is all right. He is going to remain in the ball game. So luckily, it wasn't any kind of a serious injury. And he signals play ball. And Darren Adams has come in to quarterback the Benton Panthers. Now they're going to come in and drop back in punt formation as Adams drops back to the 29-yard line, gets a nice snap from center, and the punt is off. And a nice spiraling punt off the left side of Adams' foot going out of bounds on the, well, let's see where they mark it. Inside the 30, inside the 25 on the J.A. Fair 24-yard line. And Torrance Jones was the deep man that time for the War Eagles. So J.A. Fair will take over on their own 24-yard line. A little bit of trickery there by the Benton Panthers, trying to throw J.A. Fair off a little bit.
That's right, John. I was still a little shook up over the referee. He actually clutched his chest and fell to the ground, and it just... to see something like that is kind of dramatic, and it'll get you a little upset.
It sure will, but he seems to be okay out there right now, so we'll wish him the best. From the 24-yard line, McIntosh takes the ball and hands off to Blackman up to the 25. Not much there for the tailback for the War Eagles as Philip Wells for Benton makes the stop. Gain of 1, second down and 9 yards to go.
John Brent Black that time played linebacker about as well as you could play it. He filled the hole and stopped the play that has been working for J.A. Fair all night tonight. And anytime you keep our linebacker, keep the offensive line off our linebackers, they're going to make that play.
Well, they sure are. Second down and 9 as McIntosh leads his team up to the line of scrimmage. From the 26-yard line, they give it again to Blackman. Blackman scampering across the 25 and carries up to the 29-yard line. And the Benton Panthers are right there to make the tackle. And on the initial stop was Trevor Oswald for Benton. So with 7 minutes, actually 6:59 now to play in the first half of the ball game, J.A. Fair will be looking at 3rd down and 5. The ball spotted on the War Eagle 29-yard line. Here in the second quarter, the War Eagles moving from left to right. Far side hash marks. Walter McIntosh, the quarterback. McIntosh takes the ball, hands off now to Torrance Jones as Jones comes up across the 30 to the 33, and Brent Black makes the tackle there. So 4th down as the Panthers defense does their job, and J.A. Fair will once again have to punt the ball with 6:21 to go in the first half of the ball game, and Benton leading 7-0.
John, the Panthers are lining everybody up on the line of scrimmage at this time to go for another block.
They block one, and the ball is a low snap from center, and Richard Warner gets a wobbly punt off. And Graves will just let hit on the 30. It will bounce inside the 30, inside the 25, take a War Eagle roll down to the 21-yard line. And at that point, Rodney Allen downs it for J.A. Fair, and so the Benton Panthers will take over on the 21, actually closer to the 22, it looks like. 1st down and 10 yards to go.
John, the punter actually had to step 2 steps to the right to avoid the Benton rush and kicked kind of a sidewinder type kick and got an excellent roll on it, and it's put Benton down in I believe it's their deepest possession of the first half.
Ball spotted on the 22-yard line as Paige Eccles and company up to the line of scrimmage. Running out of the wishbone with the ball on the far side hash marks, facing about a 6-man front. Here's Eccles keeping the 20, 25, and up to the 26-yard line. And on the stop is Tracy Jones for the War Eagles. So it's a gain of 4 yards for the Panthers. It'll be 2nd and 6. They need to get up to the 32 for the 1st and 10.
John Benton has slowly started to get their offense to churning tonight. And, of course, we drove when we got the ball down here on the fumble in for a touchdown, but really to gain the confidence level that we want to have, we need to take this ball and drive it the length of the field for a touchdown.
Jumper out to the wide side. Eccles escaping the ball around the right end, the 30. Eccles, the 35, has the 1st and 10, and then some. All the way up to the 36-yard line. Scott Hurst made the tackle for J.A. Fair.
You heard a little roar from the fans that time, John. It was because one of the J.A. Fair players hit a Benton player after the whistle blew and just knocked him into the 3rd orbit. So maybe the referee's a little slow pulling the flag.
Well, we hope that injury didn't hurt him in that regard. Hope it didn't hurt that arm there pull that flag out. Ball on the 35-yard line in the middle of the field this time as Eccles takes the ball. Gets away from one fair tackler. Pitches out Rico Land, the 35, the 40. Land up to the 45-yard line and stretches for what is, well, they're not going to mark it a 1st and 10. They'll mark it on the 44-yard line, but Rico Land, always exciting, Mike, when he gets his hands on the ball, and he's not had a breakaway run tonight. Had 105 yards last week against Texarkana.
John, let me tell you, after this play, you got to give credit to Paige Eccles, though, for making that thing happen.
He got away from one J.A. Fair War Eagle as the gap had closed in on him. Here's Burton, and he's going to be stood straight up for no gain on this play. Burton is hit on the 44-yard line and denied the 1st and 10.
John,
and standing him up that time, Mike, was Doyle Moore.
I don't know if you call it standing him up or knocking him out. It was a heck of a blow, and we could hear the leather popping all the way up here. Paige Eccles, John, on that previous play, got away from one defender and actually then pitched the ball to Rico and made a fantastic play to keep that thing happening.
Here's Eccles again on the 45. Eccles to the 50. He's got the 1st and 10 and gets into J.A. Fair territory on the 49-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Benton Panthers as right now Paige Eccles is making that wishbone work.
Paige Eccles did it last week. He did it last week exactly like he's doing it tonight. He runs the option as well as anybody that Benton's had in the recent history of their team, and really just making the option look good on the field tonight.
Aaron Adams comes to the near side of the field. The ball on the fair 49. Here's the snap, and they give it to Judd Fight as Judd just carries two players on his back down to the 46-yard line. So Judd Fight just literally churning and moving those legs and picks up 3 tough yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 now for the Benton Panthers, down on the War Eagle 47.
John Judd Fight knows as well as anybody that they're keying on him tonight, and you can watch the linebackers. They've got one of their linebackers that does nothing but go after Judd Fight, and he realizes that, and he knows that he's going to have to contribute in that manner. But the good thing about it is that what comes out of that is it ties up 1 or 2 men all the time, and it gives Benton another opportunity with another play.
Benton leading 7-0. If you've just joined us, 3 minutes going now. They have it on the War Eagle 47. This drive started down on the 22-yard line. Up to the line of scrimmage they come, running out of the wishbone, with Graves split to the near side of the field. Open field to Eccles left as he is hit up at the 46-yard line. Not much there for the Benton quarterback. And on the stop for the War Eagles was Richard Warner. So it will be 3rd and 7 still for the Benton Panthers. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the first half of the ball game. As Graves comes out and Jumper will go in. He'll be split to the near side. Ball in the middle of the field. The War Eagles set with a 5-man front. Panthers running the wishbone on this series. Here's the snap as Eccles wants to throw. Looks, fires, hits Jumper on the 35, the 30, the 25. Tackled on the 20-yard line, and hitting him and bringing him down from behind was Rodney Allen for J.A. Fair. Otherwise, they'd have burned the War Eagles for 6.
John, when the Panthers came up to the line of scrimmage, Blake Jumper read that the defensive back was playing off of him about 12 yards. That play is designed either to be a fly pattern or cut in, read the defender, and Blake Jumper did a great job of reading the defender, slanting in toward the middle. Paige Eccles threw a good pass for a nice gain.
So the Benton Panthers, as Eccles keeps here, spinning and moves down inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Maybe the 16, depending on where they mark the ball. And we got a War Eagle down now.
John, the War Eagle that's down that right now is the one that took on Judd Fight at the line of scrimmage. And he looks like a Tweety bird in the cage. He's trying to figure out where the door's at. He just flat got his bell rung is what it boils down to. And that's what I was talking about tonight, where Judd Fight contributes to this ball club so well.
We have a break in the action here with Benton facing 2nd down and 6 when we come back with 2 minutes to go here. Well, we're going to keep it here. He's all right. That is Scott Hurst, and he's been in on a few tackles tonight.
Yeah, he's played a good ball game for the War Eagles, but he met his match that time with Judd Fight.
2nd and 6 for the Benton Panthers. Ball in the middle of the field, facing a 5-man front here for J.A. Fair, running out of the wishbone. Eccles up to the line of scrimmage. Here's the snap, and they give it again to Judd Fight as the big Benton fullback is inside the 15-yard line barely, and so it will be a gain of a couple of more, and that will set up a 3rd down and 5 situation for the Benton Panthers.
John, 3rd and 5 is really tough on this end of the field. You've got some options that you can do of your little slant-in pass, but I tell you, the way they're running that option tonight, it seemed like a good thing to do, just let Paige keep the ball on the option.
Let's see what happens here as Eccles takes the ball and fumbles, and
the War Eagles.
I did not see who came up with it for J.A. Fair, but they came up with the ball. I did not see who came up with it, but the ball is going to go over to the War Eagles this time. I think it may have been Doyle Moore.
John, it didn't really they just totally, after Paige fumbled the ball, he just totally lost where it was at and couldn't find it. And really, the way the players looked, I don't believe fumble was hollered out as loud as it should have been to let everybody know that there was a fumble on the play.
Everybody kind of froze that time. They give it to Blackburn as he's up across the 15 to the 16-yard line for a couple of tough yards that time. And getting up off the bottom of the Benton pile is Matt Bowen. Danny Van Cleve also in there for Benton. And we're down inside a minute now, 51 seconds to play in the first half of the ball game. J.A. Fair looking at second down and 8. Benton leading 7-0 here in the second quarter. The ball on the 16-yard line as J.A. Fair breaks the huddle and up to the line of scrimmage, setting up in the I formation. And it will be Blendon split to the near side, and McIntosh fumbled the ball. Let's see who's come up with it. I think the War Eagles got it back. McIntosh coming up with his own fumble. And now timeout has been called as Fair will be looking at 3rd and 8, and Benton will talk things over. And we're down to 21 seconds to play here in the first half of the ball game. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Well, back at C.W. Lewis Stadium here, homecoming tonight, and all the fans got here a little bit early to see the home. We'll mention homecoming court. We haven't done that tonight, and Mike, I don't know, now might be a good time to talk about these young ladies.
Let me call them off to you here real quick. The Charity Herring is the senior maid. Tiffany Hawkins is the queen. Suzanne Kendi is the senior maid. Hope Atkinson is the sophomore maid. Meredith Boulding is the junior maid. Karen Barton, junior maid. Paige Davis, the sophomore maid. And, of course, we've got Paige's father, Les, is going to be up here at halftime to talk to us.
Well, we're down to 21 seconds to play here in the first half as McIntosh under on 3rd down and 8. J.A. Fair takes the ball, hands off Blackburn to the 20, the 25. Blackburn to 30, has the 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line. And J.A. Fair picks up a 1st down here on the ball game, and Darren Adams makes the stop for the Benton Panthers. So I kind of messed up the Panthers' plans to get that ball back and try to.
Yeah, it did. They were plotting a strategy of hoping to hold them and get the ball back, but J.A. Fair kind of rose to the occasion. It looked like our defense was spread a little wider that time, and this I'll tell you, these two running backs for J.A. Fair have been very, very exciting here tonight.
Clock may run out, though, before we get this playoff here, as we're down to 2 seconds, 1 second, and that is the end of the first half of the ball game, as Benton will go into the locker room at halftime, leading 7-0 over the J.A. Fair War Eagles. We'll be back to C.W. Lewis Stadium right after this 60-second timeout.
We're back at C.W. Lewis Stadium awaiting the kickoff of the second half as John Graves bends over to tee the ball up. Paige Eccles going to be the safety man on the kickoff team. It's been an exciting football game defensively in the first half, but we're waiting on the Benton offense to open up in the second half. Let's turn it back over to John Riddle now for the play-by-play of the second half.
Thanks, Mike, as John Graves has the ball teed up, and the deep man for J.A. Fair is Roderick Blackman. He's standing on the 5-yard line. We got a fresh 12 minutes up on the board, and here we go as the Panthers lead 7-0, and Graves squibs it. It hits on the 20 and gets away from one of the up men on the 10, up to the 15 to the 20-yard line, looking to the outside on the 25 to the 30, and up to the 32-yard line comes J.A. Fair. Rodney Allen running the ball. And for the Benton Panthers, in on that stop that time was Jake Fight. And so it will be J.A. Fair coming back on in the third quarter, trailing 7-0. And trying to see if they can get on track tonight here against this Benton Panther defense. Benton has pretty much controlled the ball game here in the first half. Let's see what happens in the third quarter, Mike.
John, I look out over the defense. It looks like Benton's going to maintain their personnel that they've carried all through the first half. And J.A. Fair comes up to the line now, ready to begin the second half.
Walter McIntosh, the quarterback, the ball on the 32-yard line. They take it, handoff to Blackburn. He's up across the 35 and tackled right there on the 35-yard line. Grant in on the initial tackle for the Benton Panthers.
John Benton was doing a slant left with their defensive nose man that time, Big Ira Smith, who's a sophomore, and really played a good ball game. And they're going to replace Ira right now and with Derek Feeney. But Ira actually, being inexperienced, he felt the flow of the play and went away from it, and it cost Benton some yardage that time.
So it's second down and 7 yards to go for J.A. Fair. Fumble, and the Benton Panthers have come up with the ball on the 35-yard line. As that time, McIntosh pitching out to Blackman, and coming up with the ball was Brandon Harklow for the Benton Panthers. And Benton gets the ball right back with great field position on the 35-yard line.
John, it was initially a sweep play to the right side of the field, and Brandon Harklow playing cornerback. His job is to come up and help contain when there's a sweep play with the defensive end, and Harklow, by playing aggressively, was in good position to make the fumble recovery that time.
So Paige Eccles and company out on the line, up to the line of scrimmage on the 35-yard line. Tommy Burton gets the call. He's stacked up and dropped. Doyle Moore, one of them in there on the tackle for the Panthers. Blackburn and Glenn all getting in there. And so it's no gain on the play, second down and 10. When you're on the opponent's 35-yard line, though, Mike, you just pretty much expect your team to punch it in and get some points.
You've got to make the ball move right here. You've absolutely got to get this ball and take it down and score. It's going to be essential for the Panthers to be able to do this, especially next week coming up against Pine Bluff.
Here is Eccles coming to the near side, going to run 35-30. Eccles down to the 27-yard line. And on the tackle for J.A. Fair, Doyle Moore. And also there to assist was Chris Elliott.
John Paige Eccles does that rollout about as well as any quarterback I've seen. And I tell you, we've bragged on him a whole lot, but he's deserved every bit of the recognition he's gotten. It's almost like Paige just doesn't pay any attention to that offside pursuit. He's just going to go ahead and do his play and make it execute as well as possible.
Ball on the 27. Benton is 3rd and 2 now. Here's the snap. Here's the give. Judd Fight scrambles down to the 26-yard line. Still not enough. He's hit right there by Scott Hurst for J.A. Fair. And so Benton now looks at 4th down and 1.
John, I can't help but think that the Panthers will go for this on 4th and 1 simply because we need our offense to build that confidence level. If you'll listen to all the coaches all through America, confidence level is what you've got to have. Not overconfident, but just enough to make sure you can do it.
Eccles under from the 26, takes the ball, hands off Fight. Judd has the 1st and 10 as he takes it down to the 24-yard line. Scott Hurst on the stop for J.A. Fair, and so it is a 1st and 10 for the Panthers on the War Eagle 24-yard line. 9 minutes and 9 seconds to play, third quarter. Benton 7, J.A. Fair nothing. Benton moving from left to right here in this quarter.
And John, we're getting some cheerleaders out on the field. Big Scott Rivers and a couple more of the guys asking the crowd to get into the ball game, and they're responding.
Crowd a great factor in last week's ball game, last week's big win over Texarkana. Here's the snap. Eccles pumps. Eccles wants to throw, looking downfield. Now will run 25 and trips on the 23-yard line. And actually getting a piece of Eccles' jersey was Scott Hurst and slowed him down. And Eccles tripped and fell forward. But had Hurst not grabbed him by the jersey, he may have turned that into a big run.
I tell you, John, Scott Hurst has played a good ball game for J.A. Fair tonight. He got his bell rung a little earlier when he hit one-on-one with Judd Fight. But he showed there that he's not got anything wrong with him. And he's actually playing a defensive end position, and his job is to come in and do just what he did, and he did it very well that time.
2nd and 8 from the War Eagle 22-yard line. Eccles gets away from one guy, pitches Rico Land. Land is in the 25 down to, the 21 down to the 19-yard line. Tracy Jones on the tackle, and we got flags on the play.
Well, we finally got one of those that we were looking for. The referee got his right arm limbered up and brought that flag out of his hip because it was a bad late lick, and that'll add 15 yards to Benton's effort.
So that will be a 1st and 10 for the Benton Panthers as they walk the penalty off. And they will mark it inside the 15, inside the 10, and down. Actually, the nose of the ball is right on the fair side of the 10-yard line. So 1st down and goal, the ball on the 9.5-yard line. And 8 minutes and 1 second to play in the 3rd quarter. Graves splits to the wide side, or actually the wide side of the field. Ball on the far side, hash marks in the wishbone. Eccles, the quarterback, takes the ball, hands off Fight, quick breakaway, the 5, the 4, down to the 2-yard line. Judd Fight on a quick trap, and on the stop that time, Tracy Jones for J.A. Fair. And Judd got those legs churning again and almost took it into the end zone. So Benton now 2nd and goal, this time from the 1, about right at the 1-yard line, it looks like. Actually, the 1.5. Up to the line of scrimmage comes the Panthers. Ball on the left side, hash marks. Benton moving from left to right in the wishbone, leading 7-0. They take it, they give it to Fight. He's trying to get under and in. No indication from the referee. So it looks like Fight come up just a little bit short. Walter McIntosh made the stop for the War Eagles of J.A. Fair.
I tell you, they've spotted it where that when the center handles the ball, Bo Chaney handles it next time, the ball will actually be on the goal line. That was very, very close, and it's hard to imagine when Judd gets up laying in the end zone that he's on the 1-inch line.
Ball right on almost on the goal line. 3rd down, they give it to Fight. He's in this time. No, yes, he does. As Judd Fight makes it a 13-0 ball game. Doyle Moore tries to stand him up, but could not do it. And Benton leads 13-0 here over J.A. Fair.
John, you know, you've heard the phrase that defense wins championships. Our defense caused a turnover. We recovered the fumble down deep in the J.A. Fair end of the field. John Graves lining up now for the point after. But when our defense makes turnovers and our offense is able to capitalize on them, you can develop your team into a championship football team. And Benton did a good job of it that time as Graves' kick is up and good.
Timeout on the field as Benton leads 14-0. We'll be back in 1 minute. John Graves kicks it squib style again, picked up by one of the War Eagles on the 20, up to the 25, the 30, the 33-yard line comes J.A. Fair, and running the ball that time, one of the up guys for the J.A. Fair War Eagles. It was Preston Henderson, and so it will be the War Eagles ball on the 33-yard line, their own 33, 1st down and 10 yards to go on this drive. 6:31 to play, 3rd quarter, Benton 14, J.A. Fair nothing. And the War Eagles up to the line of scrimmage, led by their quarterback, Walter McIntosh. He's a senior, 6'2" and 191 pounds. Lining up in the I formation, looking at a 5-man Benton Panther front. And McIntosh will keep the ball around right end, trying to get away from Michael Grant, and does on the 30, and carries up to the 34-yard line, and out of bounds goes the J.A. Fair quarterback. And so McIntosh was able to turn the corner, and on the stop that time for the Benton Panthers was Harklow, Brandon Harklow. And so it will be no gain on the play, 2nd and 10. He must have run about 15 yards to gain nothing.
Well, John, you can bet that J.A. Fair is going to try to open up with whatever their open up offense is. They've shown early tonight that they really don't have a strong passer, but they are going to try to utilize their speed and get on the outside, where Benton has had a few problems this year defensively.
Ball on the far side, hash marks as McIntosh pitches out now to Blackburn. Blackburn trying to cut in. He's on the 35 and up to the 37-yard line, and Brent Black makes the tackle.
It's awful hard, John, when Brent Black gets a hold of somebody for him to get loose from him. He's just not going to lose many tackles once he grabs them. And, of course, Benton now, or J.A. Fair facing a 3rd and 5. Really looks like about a 3rd and 6, to be quite frank with you. But Benton so far tonight has been able to hold J.A. Fair in 3rd down situations.
So the ball up on the 37-yard line, 3rd down and 6 for the War Eagles. McIntosh looking at a 5-man front, and one of the Benton guys this time comes across. And a little bit nervous was Derek Feeney, as Feeney could smear the quarterback all the way, but just a little bit too anxious there.
Well, they're going to bring Derek Feeney out and put Ira Smith back in. As they make a mistake, they alternate them out, and that's not a bad thing to do. You know, bring the guy over and let him settle down a little bit, and that makes it 3rd and 1, and a whole lot more difficult situation for the Benton Panther defense.
5.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter as the War Eagles come up to the line of scrimmage. They will send Chris Blendon to the near side, I formation. Ball on the far side, hash marks. McIntosh handing off to the tailback. He's turned up, and I don't think he made it. That was, I did not see if it was, it was Blackman running the ball, and right there was Ira Smith for the Benton Panthers, and Bryson Tuttle was also there. Well, did he make it?
John, Ira Smith come in, rested, and had his legs under him real good, and fought off his block from the center and made just a great tackle at the line of scrimmage. They are going to ask for a measurement. It's awful close, and they're in a point of the field position to where that, in this point of the ball game, where the J.A. Fair possibly would go for it on 4th down in this situation. It looks like it's going to be 4th down at about 2 or 3 inches.
Did not make the 1st and 10. They're stretching the chains out, and the Panthers have stopped them on that play. Just inches away. Just inches. I mean less than an inch. And so J.A. Fair has a decision to make here. Will they go for it? And it looks like they're going to. Walter McIntosh looking to the sideline. So the Panther defense now trying to stop J.A. Fair on downs. 4th down and about an inch to go.
Really, John, it's not a decision to be made. When you're down 14-0, and with the play of the Benton defense the way it's been tonight, and Benton's offense being able to sustain drives, you've got to go for it at this point in the ball game.
McIntosh under. He will sneak. He will get the 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line. So the drive is still alive for the J.A. Fair War Eagles. On the tackle that time, Matt Bowen for the Benton Panthers. And so 1st down and 10 for Fair on their own 45. 14-0 the score. Benton Panthers capitalizing on a Fair turnover, getting the ball on the 35-yard line and punching it in. McIntosh up to the line of scrimmage, I formation. Here's the snap, here's the give. Blackman across the 45. Blackman tackled on the 47-yard line. And getting up off the bottom of the pile was Blake Jumper. Also in there was Bryson Tuttle for the Benton Panthers. They gained 3, 2nd down and 7, and Trevor Oswald was also in there.
I think we had everybody in the on the tackle except maybe 1 or 2 players over here on the sideline. I tell you, Benton's defense has worked on that real hard the past 2 or 3 weeks, and they have really been swarming to the football.
2nd down and 7 for the J.A. Fair War Eagles from the 47-yard line, their own. Back to pass goes McIntosh, lofts it in the air, going to be intercepted. And downed immediately, Darren Adams coming up with the ball on the 39-yard line, and downed immediately by Richard Warner, but the Panther defense has done the job and given the ball right back to that Benton Panther offense.
John, it goes right back to the start of the play. Everything worked just like you wanted to work for the Benton defense. We had 5 of our defensive line, defensive front back on the passer, and we caused him to rush the pass and get it off before he wanted to. And Darren Adams was in great position to make an interception and give Benton the ball back.
Benton now will run out of the wing T formation with Rico Land in motion. And they take the ball to Land to Burton. Burton takes the ball across the 40, and Tommy Burton carries up to the 45-yard line on the reverse. Rodney Allen makes the stop for J.A. Fair. And it's a gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 yards to go for the Benton Panthers.
John, we've got a host of running backs. You know, we sit and look at Rico Land and Tommy Burton doing a great job. And then over on the bench, we got Brent Black, let me go to you for the play-by-play on this, and we'll get back to that.
Ball on the far side, hash marks with John Graves in the lineup now. They give it to Burton on the slant. Burton on the 45. Burton up to the 50, and Burton crosses the 50-yard line and down to the J.A. Fair 48 and tackled by Richard Warner of the War Eagles. 1st and 10 are awfully close for the Benton Panthers, and we got a War Eagle down.
Got a War Eagle down, and I tell you, it's a direct result of hard running by Tommy Burton. Tommy Burton, and we spoke of it earlier tonight. Last week, Tommy Burton really put things together, and tonight has run the ball with great force. And I tell you, John, he's not going to let one man bring him down. It's going to take 2 or 3 on every play. We've actually got 2 War Eagles down, and both of them were involved on the tackle with Tommy Burton.
Well, we have a break in the action here at C.W. Lewis Stadium. The Benton Panthers leading 14-0. Let's pause for this 1-minute timeout. Paige Eccles keeps the ball to the 40, the 35, down to the 30-yard line goes the Benton quarterback as Chris Elliott there is to bring him down. And it's a 1st and 10 for the Benton Panthers. And while we were at the break, and that was my fault that time because I thought they were going to be working on those War Eagles for a little bit, and I called for the timeout. They ran a play with Paige Eccles, keeping for a couple of yards while we were at the break. And then that time, Eccles strung it out for a nice gainer, and Chris Elliott made the stop. And so Benton now has the ball on the 30-yard line, 1st and 10, on the J.A. Fair 30, I might add. And they give it to Rico Land, juking on the 30, looking on the 25. Land is going to be run out of bounds on the 22-yard line, and there's a flag on the play. David Moore for J.A. Fair makes the tackle.
John, I think they're going to call Benton either for holding or clipping on the play. We had a lead blocker out there, and he got a little bit on the back of the defender, and let's wait and see what the call is for sure. But I'll tell you something I've noticed on the last 2 plays by Benton, and it could definitely be to Benton's advantage. We do have holding against the Panthers, but the War Eagles are starting to show some exhaustion on the field. They're leaning over with their hands on their knees. They're a lot slower to get up and get back to their huddle. The Panthers' conditioning, I believe, is now starting to pay off, and obvious by the last couple of plays that the Panthers have had. We've had real nice gainers out of it. And if the exhaustion factor has set in on the War Eagles, it'll be time for Benton to start rolling those yards up and getting in the end zone.
They walk off a 10-yard penalty, which will put it back on the 35 and make it 1st and 15 for the Benton Panthers, running out of the wing tee. Near side hash marks. Back to pass goes Eccles. There's another flag down. Eccles going to have to run. Eccles is tackled on the 36-yard line by Doyle Moore, and there's a flag on the play. Those flags were dropped, actually, as the play started.
John, I believe it's possibly going to be, even though one of the War Eagles is pointing against the Panthers, it's going to be a procedure penalty against the Benton Panthers.
That'll be another 5-yard walk-off for the Benton Panthers. 2.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter, and the Panthers, who had a good drive going, are now going the wrong direction. They'll make those adjustments.
What happens, John, a lot of times is our motion man moves toward the line of scrimmage before this ball snap, and anytime you have that, no one's supposed to move toward the line of scrimmage until the ball is snapped.
Well, they'll make it. They refuse the penalty. That'll make it 2nd down and 15 now. As here comes Jumper in motion from the wing. Back to pass goes Eccles, looking downfield, has a man open, and it's incomplete. And they're going to call a pass interference penalty. Glenn Tyson was the intended receiver. Chris Elliott was defending on the play, and it will be a pass interference penalty against the War Eagles of J.A. Fair. That'll be a 15-yard walk-off. And so that should give the Benton Panthers a 1st and 10.
Coach Les Davis talking about Glenn Tyson being one of his track stars and finishing 10th last year in the decathlon. And Glenn that time released off the line of scrimmage from his tight end position and had his defender beat, and the defender realized it, and the ball was underthrown just a little bit, but the defender said, hey, rather than let this guy get a touchdown on me, I'm gonna do me a little pass interference. And we're starting to have a little lightning out here tonight, and of course the weather's supposed to change dramatically tonight, and let's hope this thing gets over before it gets here.
1 minute, 51 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Benton driving with now a 2nd down and less than a yard situation, so they did not quite get the walk-off, and now the referee stops play as we come up to the line of scrimmage. 14-0 the score. Benton with a lead, and now they're reminding the referee it should have been an automatic 1st and 10.
He didn't move the chains, John. And of course, some of our vocal fans here, and I'm glad they're into the ball game because they sure were hollering at the referee.
Oh, they were.
He might be having a little effect over that slingshot.
Dazed him just a little bit. A little delayed reaction there. Ball on the far side hash mark. Eccles quick handoff to Judd Fight, and Judd inside the 20 quickly and down to the 19-yard line. So quick trap there for Judd Fight, and on the stop is Scott Hurst very alertly tonight. And I tell you what, Hurst and Fight have introduced themselves to each other many times in this ball game.
I think as of right now, Judd Fight's on top just a little bit, though. If you're going to best 3 out of 4, Judd's definitely in the hunt to win that round.
He sure is. 2nd and 7 now, a gain of 3 for the Panthers. Here's the snap. Here's the fake to Fight this time. Eccles to the 15, the 10. Eccles down to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Benton Panthers. Chris Elliott for J.A. Fair on the tackle, keeping Page out of the end zone that time. And so Benton has a 1st and goal now on the War Eagle 5-yard line with 1 minute and about 1 minute even, it looks like, to play in the 3rd quarter. The Panthers need to get another score here. Get that momentum, keep that momentum going. Double wings, Fight the fullback. Graves comes in motion to the near side. They give it to Fight. He's down to the 4-yard line, and actually keeping Judd from perhaps scoring that time was Patrick Barnett, who grabbed him right where you want to get Fight, I guess, right by the ankles, and held on.
Yeah, if you're going to hit Judd Fight and get him down with a one-man tackle, it's going to be around the ankles and get his feet out from under him. And it looked like, John, there might have been just a little bit of a missed key on the handoff between Page and Judd Fight, but I tell you, excuse me, Page Eccles has been pretty picture perfect, and it's kind of hard to criticize him. If that's his only mistake, we'll let him by with that.
Eccles looking in the end zone. Rico Land, touchdown. Rico Land coming in motion from left to right, goes around right in, had his man beat, and Eccles lays it on the money right over the head of Todd Glenn and into the end zone as Benton leads 20-0.
John, you can look across the field at the J.A. Fair coaches, and they've all got their heads down, and they're in quite a bit of disgust right now. And then you look down in the end zone after the play at the J.A. Fair players, and they were griping at one another, saying you missed your call on that. And things are starting to kind of fall apart for J.A. Fair, and the Panthers now need to take advantage as John Graves puts the point up after, and it is good. It makes it a 21-0 ball game, but the Panthers need to right now come back and really start punching that football.
We'll be back to C.W. Lewis Stadium in 30 seconds. We return to the friendly confines of C.W. Lewis Stadium to coin a phrase from an old Panther fan, and I mean a real old Panther fan. Ball on the 40-yard line as John Graves prepares to kick off, or is that going to be someone else? Bert Spann will kick off, sophomore for the Benton Panthers, and he looks like he wants to put that thing in the end zone. Well, let's see what he does here. Deep man for Texarkana, Blackburn. I mean J.A. Fair. Thank you, Donnie. Keep want to reliving those great moments from last week. They take the ball on the 20, the 25, up to the 30, and up to the 32-yard line, and down goes the J.A. Fair ball carrier. Running the ball that time for the War Eagles was Preston Henderson. Judd Fike makes the tackle, and so J.A. Fair has the ball on their own 32-yard line, first down and 10. And we were just about to run out of time in the third quarter. Inside 20 seconds to go. Is that right? 5 seconds to go. Well, we have our old friendly pole there in the way, and it's hard to see. And the clock runs out, and that is the end of the third quarter. Benton leading after 3, 21-0. We'll be back in half a minute. Well, we return to C.W. Lewis Stadium for the fourth quarter of the ball game, and the J.A. Fair War Eagles have the ball in their own 33-yard line as we begin the finale. And here's the snap as the ball is pitched and trying to sweep in on the 35. Fumble, 40, Blackburn, scramble for it. Who has come up with it? The Benton Panthers, I do believe, have come up with the ball on the War Eagle 47-yard line. Yes, they have, and that brings a round of applause from the Panther fans as that Panther defense now is not going to be denied.
John, they're looking like the Panther defense of old, and, you know, we said it earlier in the year, it looked like the offense may be a little further advanced than the defense, and we keep referring back to Texarkana, but I tell you, things started to happen against Texarkana, and that's a key to Benton Panther's success this year, and they'll go back and talk about this year as things starting to happen for them in the Texarkana ball game.
This time the Panthers will run out of the wishbone on this series. The ball on the War Eagle 47, and as we come up to the line, J.A. Fair does not like what they see. They call timeout. And we'll break here one more time with 11 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the ball game. Benton leading 21-0, and we'll be back in half a minute. Well, J.A. Fair, Mike, tell us what they saw.
John, when they lined up, they had John Graves one-on-one with a man down here, and they want double coverage on John Graves, and they just didn't want to give up a touchdown. Rico Land fumbles the ball, and it looks like J.A. Fair has turned the ball over.
Rico Land didn't really ever have control of it that time, and it was Rodney Allen falling on it for J.A. Fair, so Fair gets a gift from the Benton offense as they get the ball back on the 47-yard line.
John, the coaches are calling Rico over to the sideline, but they're not going to, what you'd call, gripe Rico out. They just want to teach him and let him know that he needs to keep both hands on that football when he's running through the line of scrimmage. And Rico ran with one hand on it, and, of course, a good tackle by a J.A. Fair defender knocked the ball loose.
So McIntosh and company up to the line of scrimmage from the 47-yard line, I formation. Here's the snap. McIntosh spinning. McIntosh on the pitch. Going wide and down. Could not turn the corner was Torrance Jones. As the Benton Panthers were there and all over him, Bryson Tuttle makes the stop for the Benton Panthers. And so it's a loss on the play of 4. It'll be 2nd and 14.
John, I saw as good a defense that time as you could see. It started with Matt Bourne at right tackle. He made penetration through the line of scrimmage. Bryson Tittle came across and played containment at defensive end. And then up comes Blake Jumper from the cornerback, and then Trevor Oswald at linebacker. That was tremendous defense for the Panthers.
I formation, 2nd and 14. McIntosh hands off, and this time again it's Torrance Jones going not much. Don't even think he made 2 yards on the play, maybe 2. And right there, Derek Finney to make the stop. Give him 2, 3rd down, and a long 2 for J.A. Fair. 10:31 to play, 10:21 rather, to play in the ball game.
John Scott Hurst is going to sleep well tonight. He's playing both ways right now for J.A. Fair, and that time when he made his block, he laid on the ground as long as he could. And I tell you, we're starting to wave down here by the stands, and by the looks of some of that lightning that we're seeing back in the horizon right now, I hope we don't get in a position where we have a wave out here on the field.
Oh, that's the truth. You want to see this game end up on a dry note. Here's McIntosh on the reverse, on the 30, 45, 50, all the way up to the Benton 48-yard line goes Richard Warner. And on the tackle for the Panthers was Chris Thomas. So a little razzle-dazzle now for the J.A. Fair War Eagles, but still coming up 5 yards short, 4th and 5 now. J.A. will have to punt the ball.
John, we're going to call it a punt, but now I tell you, keep your eyes open, folks, and fans, and your ears listening, because this would be a perfect time for J.A. Fair to try a fake punt at this point in the ball game.
Warner standing back on the Fair 37, and Benton lining everybody up and they blocked one tonight, lining everybody up, and it's a fake. They snap it to the fullback. He takes it to the Benton 45, but not enough. Leon Tolbert running the ball, 5'11", 225 pounds of real man there, but it was just not enough as Michael Grant makes the stop and thwarts J.A. Fair. So Benton will have great field position on their own 45-yard line.
I'll tell you, Talbert, you've heard the refrigerator. I think we'd have to call Talbert the Maytag, because Talbert is built very low to the ground, and he was carrying players, but Benton's defense was not to be denied.
No, sir. Benton running out of the wishbone now on their own 45-yard line. Quick handoff to Judd Fight, or is that John Council in there now at fullback? John Council gets the call, and John gets 1 yard, not much there, up to the 46-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for the Panthers. And on the stop for J.A. Fair was Richard Warner.
John, we're starting to play a few more players. Rodney Sanders, one of those backs that we were talking about earlier, that Benton's got a stable full of. Excuse me, I've got a cold this week. I know a lot of people do, but Rodney Sanders now in the ball game.
And they give it to Sanders, and he takes it across the 45, makes it up to the 48, and then he's stopped by Kenny Stevens of J.A. Fair. So 3rd down coming up for the Benton Panthers, and they will not give him much, only a yard. So let's make it 3rd and 8, as they only gave him up to the 47.
John, it hadn't been a real good night for a fullback tonight. J.A. Fair has well scouted the Benton offense, and they realize the fullback is an important part in our offense, and they've done a good job of containing the fullback.
And this time they give it to John Council, who comes back in. He fights his way up to midfield. Maybe just a little bit short of that. Well, let's see where they mark it. Right on the midfield stripe, as Michael Oliver makes the stop for J.A. Fair. 4th down and 5, and the Panthers will punt the ball.
John, we're playing our old victory song there, Hey, Hey, Baby.
That's right.
I tell you, it gets us going up here. If we were in the Springdale press box right now, we would absolutely fall through, because we're up here dancing.
Isn't that the truth? I feel this press box swing a little bit up here now. Well, it'll be Darren Adams punting the ball. Gets a low snap from center, but no one's rushing, and Darren sails one kind of low and kind of a driving punt. Fumble on the 26-yard line. Benton has got it back. Coming up with the ball for the Benton Panthers was Derek Finney. And I did not see who fumbled the ball for J.A. Fair. But Benton gets it back on the Fair 27-yard line. 1st down and 10 yards to go.
Special teams and defense has been a big part of this ball game for the Panthers. And, of course, offensively, we're taking the ball and capitalizing on mistakes, but our defense doing a great job helping us out.
Well, John Council still in at fullback for the Benton Panthers. They give it to Harklow as he takes it across the 25 and down to the 24, or maybe the 23. Brandon Harklow running the ball for the Benton Panthers. Chris Stringer now comes into the ball game for Benton. So we're going to see just a whole slew of Panther running backs in the ball game. Harklow on the right side, Springer on the left side, and Council the fullback. Page Eccles the quarterback from the 24-yard line. They give it to Springer, and he's hit and slammed down. No gain on the play, maybe a yard. And let's see who made the tackle. Obviously, Donnie Burks did not see. Patrick Barnett and the rest of the J.A. Fair War Eagles. As we used to say, a whole host of J.A. Fair War Eagles in on that stop. Well, let's see. 3rd down now and 7. Ball on the J.A. Fair 23. And coming in is Ben Mayfield. Well, obviously, Dwight is not going to keep his number 1 stable in there tonight. getting a whole bunch of experienced players getting some experience. Here's Paige Eccles keeping and getting to the 22, and that's all. But he gets to the middle of the field, and that means that we'll probably stand a good chance of seeing John Graves coming in and trying a field goal here. Richard Warner made that last stop.
John Graves is coming into the ball game, but and I see John, he's gonna come out at a wide receiver. Benton's gonna go ahead and go for it on the 4th down.
Graves will be split to the near side. Benton lining up in the wishbone. 4th down and 5 yards to go. They give it to Council. Down inside the 25 to the 24. Not enough for the 1st and 10. Tracy Jones on the tackle, and J.A. Fair will take over on downs.
John, I feel like that Coach Fight was he was criticized a little bit, I should say, for last week, and actually he wasn't trying to run the score up on Texarkana. He just wanted to get his football team in shape to play in this conference, and it would have been a good time to have seen a field goal by John Graves, but really it would have served no benefit for the Panthers, and what looks like it's going to be a victory for them tonight.
5 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the game. Ball on the 19-yard line as J.A. Fair comes up to the line of scrimmage. Walter McIntosh, the quarterback, I formation, and a tailback is Torrance Jones. And referee throws the flag as we have delay of the game called against the J.A. Fair War Eagles. They are just totally frustrated tonight. They have not had the game they wanted to have. They walk off a 5-yard penalty, which takes it down to the 14. It'll be 1st and 15 for J.A. Fair. And we're inside 5 minutes to play in the ball game.
Don, I tell you, in the 3rd quarter, we started to see some exhaustion set in on J.A. Fair, and I believe the Panthers really, with their 2-squad team, has really worn down here tonight.
We got a new Fair quarterback in there right now. We'll give you his name in a minute. They give it to Jones. He shakes one Panther. He's on the 15, the 20, to the 25-yard line comes the tailback for J.A. Fair High School, and Darren Adams makes the stop. Todd Glenn is now your quarterback. He's a senior, 5'11", 173 for J.A. Fair.
John, I don't know how that he got out of the grasp of Danny Van Cleve's hands, and Danny's looking down to see if maybe he's lost his fingers or something, because Danny Van Cleve had him stopped in the backfield, and the back for J.A. Fair did a great job of reversing field and making a nice gain out of it.
Ball is on the 25 as Glenn, the quarterback, flings it out there to Blackburn. Blackburn throws it downfield, has a man, can't hold on to it on the 35-yard line. Pass intended for Ken Maharg, and Brandon Harklow there covering on the play.
That's not anybody's fault but the receiver. The ball was well thrown. It was a flea flicker type play, and the quarterback steps back and throws out to a split end, and that draws the defense in looking for a run from that point. But that time the receiver wide open downfield, it came off of his fingertips, and nobody to blame but the receiver, and he'll go home tonight sick about that.
He sure would. He might have had a touchdown or at least a big gainer there for the War Eagles. 3:51 to play in the game. 21-0, Benton with a lead. Going on toward another conference victory tonight, we hope. And we have Todd Glenn in at quarterback now, running the attack for J.A. Fair. They have 4 receivers out, 1 setback, and pass is going to be broken up. And coming in there, Trevor Oswald. The pass was intended for Richard Warner. And so 4th down now and 4, and J.A. Fair will have to punt the ball.
John Trevor's had an opportunity tonight to intercept 2 passes, and that one might not have been a chance to intercept because the ball was thrown very hard from the line of scrimmage, but Trevor Oswald really doing a good job at linebacker for the Panthers, and we're lining up everybody on the line going for the block. And the Fair players are calling for 14 more men to come out on the field and try to hold them.
And let's see if they give the ball to the, what do we call him, the Maytag? No, they're not going to do it this time. Warner will punt. Punting away from Rico Land, and Rico will let the ball hit on the 30, and it will be down to the 29-yard line by J.A. Fair's Michael Oliver. So the Benton Panthers will take over on the 29, 1st down and 10 yards to go with 3 minutes and 41 seconds to play in the ball game.
John, I tell you, Rico that time, if he'd have been playing a little bit farther to the right, he was in a position as that ball was rolling to pick the ball up and actually make a nice gain out of it. I think Rico will look at that on the film tomorrow and say, hey, I could have got 10 or 15 yards out of that if I'd have picked it up and ran with it. But we've got a new offensive set in now for the Benton Panthers.
New quarterback Blake Jumper comes in now to run the offense for the Benton Panthers, and Jumper will keep the ball. It may have been a bad exchange from his center. Falls forward to the 30-yard line for about a yard gain there, and covering and on the tackle was Patrick Barnett for J.A. Fair. 2nd and 9 coming up now for the Benton Panthers. Just coming into the ball game is Ben Mayfield. And Ben will be split to the near side of the field. Ball on the far side, hash marks. Jumper, the quarterback. Benton lining up on the wishbone. Here's the snap, and there's the give to, I believe that was John Council, up across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And it was Richard Warner on the tackle for the War Eagles. So that will bring up 3rd down for the Panthers and 6 yards to go. The line to gain for the first down is the 39-yard line. 2 minutes, 41 seconds to play in the ball game. 21-0 Benton. Now it'll be Dale Mansker in the lineup, and he split to the wide side. Ball in the middle of the field. Jumper the quarterback. Rodney Sanders moves in at fullback now, and Sanders will get the call. Not much there. As Rodney tackled right on the line of scrimmage. And on the stop for fair was an unknown commodity there. Do we find his name? Roosevelt Barnett makes the stop. 4th down and 6. Benton will punt the ball. And Darren Adams drops back to the 20-yard line to punt the ball away. And the deep man for the Fair War Eagles, I believe, is Torrance Jones. Standing on the 30. Rushes on, and the punt is away. And the flag is down as the ball will hit on the 40. Will take a Benton roll down inside the 40. Another flag down. Well, let's see. Roughing the punter. Blocking the punter.
I believe that'll take precedent over the other flag because it'll be an offensive foul or defensive foul, and I believe it'll be brought back, and the Panthers will regain the ball somewhere. Well, let's see, somewhere along their own 40-yard line. I've got to apologize to folks tonight. I've had a cold all week long, and I tell you, it's hot up here in this press box, and I'm doing some coughing, and I apologize to you for that.
Well, that front just didn't come in to cool things down quick enough. And let's see. Well, Donnie's trying to tell me something here. Tracy Jones. What is the significance of Tracy Jones, Donnie? What is that, Donnie? I don't quite understand that. Tracy Jones. Oh, I get it. He was the guy that roughed the punter. Oh, now I got it. I'm just a little slow. You have to pardon me. I'm just awed by being up here in the same press box with a guy that's going to be an advanced man for Bill Clinton.
Donnie Sununu Burks.
Donnie's, for those of you that don't know about it, Donnie is going to be heading to Moose Jaw, Alaska, as a front man for the Bill Clinton campaign. I'm just kidding, Donnie. Donnie hopes he's going to go to where, Donnie? New Hampshire. Okay. 1st and 10 after all that silliness, and the walk-off there for the Benton Panthers, and Jumper takes the ball, hands off inside across the 50 down to the 49-yard line. Running the ball that time for the Panthers. And to be honest, I think it was Chris Stringer. Anthony Burton makes the stop.
I tell you, John, as we're nearing the end of the ball game, it looks like we've got about 20 seconds left in the game, but we need to give credit to one of the finest Benton bands that I've heard in a long time. They really did an outstanding job at halftime, and they really do sound good down here late in the ball game, keeping a lot of spirit in this thing for the Panther crowd.
Jumper takes the ball, rolls to the near side, going to have to get away from a guy and can't do it. Tackled on the 44-yard line. As down goes Jumper at the hands of Michael Oliver. And also, Richard Warner was there. And so it is 3rd down for the Panthers and 14 yards to go on the 44-yard line. 41 seconds to play in the ball game, and Mansker will split to the near side. Sanders in now at fullback for the Benton Panthers. Blake Jumper, the quarterback. Ball on the 44-yard line. There's the snap. There is the give to Rodney Sanders across the 45 and up to the 47-yard line. 21 seconds to play in the ball game. Is that right? Inside now, down to the 18-second mark.
John, it looks like we are going to go on and play Pine Bluff, undefeated in the conference, 2-0. And the last time Benton played Pine Bluff was November the 17th, 1967. Pine Bluff won the ball game 31-7, and I tell you, they've got just a powerful enough team to do that again this year if we're not on top of our ball game. And it looks like the ball game is over officially tonight, and the Panthers have won it 21-0.
21-0. The final score as the Panther band strikes up the Pink Panther, and we'll be back to C.W. Lewis Stadium to wrap this one up right after this 1-minute timeout.
That's great.
Back at C.W. Lewis Stadium as the Benton Panthers now look at 3rd down and 1. The ball on the Hog 29-yard line. The Panthers with 8 minutes and 51 seconds to play in the ball game. They really could use a touchdown on this drive.
They need to make a touchdown, and Jerry Dandurand made a good point a while ago. We're in a coaching battle right now. The two coaches, the head coaches on each side, it's down to who's going to do the best job of coaching the football team.
One setback behind the quarterback, and they take the ball on the 30, the 25, the 24, 1st and 10. Everybody froze except for the center, Bo Chaney and Paige Eccles. Chad Cowling makes the stop. A great play with the Benton Panthers for a 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line, and this drive is kept alive. Good coaching that time by Dwight Fite. He's pulled some good plays out of his hat when he had to have them tonight.
Well, I think Dandurand hit the nail on the head a while ago. It's just, it's going to be a coaching battle right now, and Dwight Fite's winning that battle.
Well, they give it to Judd Fite, not much there, down to the 23-yard line for a gain of 1. Nick Elrod on the stop along with Chad Cowling for the Hogs. It's a gain of 1, 2nd down and 9 coming up for the Texarkana Razorbacks, for the Benton Panthers. 8 minutes, 21 seconds to go in the game.
John, I don't want to let tonight get by without mentioning Coach Mark Ballesteros' wife. It's in the hospital in Little Rock. She's been very ill all week long and had some serious problems, and we want to wish her the best and get her back well where she can come out watching these Panther football games.
Well, the Hogs did, again, not like what they saw. They've called timeout with 8 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the game, and we'll be back to C.W. Lewis Stadium in half a minute.
She lost 4 units of blood. Yeah. Yeah. No, she's in the hospital in Little Rock. Hello, Kelly.
Well, we return to the friendly confines of C.W. Lewis Stadium, where it's not been so friendly tonight. If you're a Texarkana Razorback, 30-17, then the Panthers have pawed and pawed and pawed on the Hogs tonight, and the Hogs have big Panther claw marks on their backs thus far in the ball game.
It's been a great football game, and I think aside of the El Dorado game a couple of years ago, I've probably enjoyed this football game as much as any that I've seen in a long, long time.
A lot of fan excitement and a lot of noise here tonight in C.W. Lewis Stadium. It is rocking. 2nd down and 9. Now Panthers with the ball in the middle of the field. One setback. They take it, play action fake. There's the pitch, Graves. He's on the 25. He's on the 20, walking the tightrope and out of bounds on the 16, 17-yard line. needs to get to the 14 for the first. Nick Elrod there to knock him out of bounds, and John Graves did a great job, Micah, walking the tightrope that time and staying in bounds and turning that into bigger yardage.
John Graves actually had the defense thinking he was going to go ahead and go out of bounds, and Texarkana let up just a little bit, and when John read that, he went ahead and walked that sideline and made a beautiful play out of it.
Ball on the 16.5, 3rd down and 3 for the Panthers. Ball on the near side hash mark, 7:51 to play in the game. Here's the snap, there's the give. Burton, he's on the 15. Burton down to the 11 for a Panther 1st and 10.
That'll be a holding play, John, against the Benton Panthers. Michael Beggs that time was called by the referee in the backfield, and I mean, he called it real quick, and he made the call real quick. So it's definite holding penalty against the Panthers, and that's going to back them up a little. But, you know, we hadn't had a lot of those mistakes tonight.
No, we haven't, and the Panthers have they played a pretty near picture-perfect ball game when it comes to those mental errors. They've made a lot of corrections since the last time we saw them against Springdale. 15 yards, so walking off against the Panthers, which will move it back to the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 14 now for the Panthers, so this changes the complexion of the play. One setback, Benton running out of the wing tee. Near side hash marks. Eccles looking at a 5-man front. Here's Graves in motion from left to right. Back to pass goes Eccles. Has plenty of time. Looks, fires. It's caught on the 11-yard line. Michael Grant makes a shoestring catch from his back. Anthony Willis covering on the play. Graves was on his back and reached up and caught that ball. It looked like it had glue on his hands.
John, it did look like it had glue on his hands, but thank goodness for the referees. We got a good call that time. That ball bounced right in front of Michael Grant, just about 6 inches in front of his hands. He'll argue with me about that tomorrow that it didn't, but it was awful close. We got a break that time.
1st and 10 now from the Hog 11. Ball on the near side hash marks. Here's the snap. Here's Eccles keeping on the 10, the 8. Walking the tightrope and tackled on the 8-yard line. It's Anthony Hullivers on the stop for the Texarkana Razorbacks. As Eccles that time was going to keep it all the way. Gain 3, 2nd down and 7. They can get a first if they can get down to the 1-yard line. 7 minutes and 1 tick left to play in the ball game. Benton 30, Texarkana 17.
John, you know, talking about coaches, they need recognition. We've got the 2 Fulcher boys, Richard and Donald, out there coaching tonight. Mark Jones, Mark Ballesteros, Jack Rosenberry. They've all done a great job this year in helping these Panthers learn the technique of football.
They give it to Rico Land. He's on the 5. Rico fumbles in the end zone. A scramble for it, and Texarkana has covered the ball and wipes out a sure touchdown. Did not see what happened. The ball pops loose in the end zone, and Damian Ellis comes up with it for Texarkana. They'll get it on the 20-yard line.
John, I really believe Rico had broke the plane that time. The officials were not down on the goal line and weren't able to see it. It would have been one of those delayed call touchdowns, but it looked like Rico Land did break the plane of the goal. Tough call. We got a good call a while ago, and now we got to take it back.
So Texarkana's Mike Cherry comes back out onto the field with new life with 6:31 to play. But the clock now a big factor for Texarkana, Mike, and the Panther defense is fired up tonight.
And he's going to line up and start tossing the football.
Split backs behind Cherry. Benton with a 5-man front. Here's the snap. Cherry takes the ball. Play action fake. They're chasing him. Fires the pass. Intercepted on the 40-yard line. Coming up with the ball for the Benton Panthers is Brandon Harklow. Benton gets the ball right back. They put Cherry on his rear end on the 10-yard line. Had a great rush on that time. He threw it fast. It went over the head of his receiver, and Harklow was there for the interception.
John Michael Grant and Danny Van Cleve, Derek Feeney were all in the backfield, and they were in chase of Mr. Cherry. He had a lot of velocity on the ball, but it was tipped initially coming downfield, and Brandon Harklow, who has come in this week and started playing defensive halfback, heads up football, and he got the interception.
From the 40-yard line, Benton with new life. 1st down and 10 yards to go on the Texarkana 40. Running out of the wishbone now, they take the ball. Burton with the call. He takes it on the 35 down to the 34-yard line and took 4. Texarkana Razorbacks to bring him down. Eric Warfield leading the charge that time for the Texarkana Razorbacks, but Tommy Burton had those knees churning and takes it down to the 34. A nice gain of 6 yards on the play, 2nd and 4. Benton now with 342 yards of total offense in the ball game tonight compared to 162 for the Texarkana Razorbacks.
That's absolutely fantastic, especially when you've got the explosive passing offense that Texarkana has, and Benton's defense tonight has virtually taken that away from Texarkana.
Jumper split to the wide side, running out of the wishbone with the ball on the near side. Hash marks go the Benton Panthers. They give it to Rico Land. He's across the 30, down to the 29, and a Panther 1st and 10. Chad Cowling makes the tackle. 5:21 to go in the ball game. Benton 30, Texarkana 17.
John, the Benton offense, Paige Eccles handling things very well. He's letting the 25-second clock run down almost to the instant when it's going to change, killing all the time on the clock that he can kill. Got Brent Black in there, back in there now at halfback. Well, we got Brent Black and Tommy Burton and Judd Fight. That's the beef backfield, and we'll be doing some blowing out down there right now.
From the 28-yard line, they send Graves to the wide side. Ball on the near side, hash mark. Straight ahead, Judd Fight churning, taking it down to the 26. So Judd Fight picks up 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 yards to go for the Benton Panthers. Anthony Hulliver's on the stop for the Texarkana Razorbacks. 4 minutes, 51 seconds to play in the ball game. Benton continues to pile on the total yardage tonight, now up to 350 yards, twice the output of Texarkana. Up to the line come the Benton Panthers. They'll line up in the wishbone with Rico Land at the right half. On the left side is Jumper. And Paige Eccles, the quarterback, hands off Rico. Rico dives into the line on the 25. He's down to the 23-yard line, and Barry Johnson on the tackle for the Razorbacks. So give him a couple of more, making it now 3 more. 3rd down now and 5 for the Benton Panthers.
John, we've needed Brent Black's effectiveness on defense all year long, but let me tell you what's happening, folks. Brent Black's in the backfield right now. He's a 200-pound halfback, and he is blowing the defensive players back and allowing Rico Land and Tommy Burton to make nice gains on every play.
Benton with the ball in the middle of the field, still in the wishbone. Here is Burton. Off play action fake to Burton. Back to pass. Goes Eccles. He's going to have to go down. He has to eat it on the 33-yard line, and a flag is down. They grabbed him by the face mask. Eric Warfield reached out and grabbed that face mask and slung Paige Eccles to the turf, and the flags fly in the air.
John Page almost pulled off a miraculous scramble that time. He looked kind of like old Fran Tarkington several years ago. He was digging for daylight, and we got a break that time because Page did go down, but they are going to call him for a face mask penalty, and that's going to help the Panthers keep a drive alive. 15 yards on the penalty, which will give Benton the 1st and 10 inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Well, it's going to be close to a 1st and 10. I haven't seen them move the chains yet, though. They're going to take a timeout to measure. 3:41 to play in the ball game. 3:48 rather to play in the ball game. Benton 30, Texarkana 17. Panthers still. We'd like to see them score one more time here on the Texarkana Razorbacks. Is given that 20-point lead. Texarkana awfully dangerous anytime they get their hands on the ball. They get the 1st and 10. But tonight, the Panther defense has kept the ball out of the hands of Mike Cherry, and the Benton Panther defense has been able to grind it out. I don't know how many minutes of possession they've had in the 4th quarter, but they've certainly dominated the 4th quarter in terms of possession tonight. You know, John, another good point is that when Texarkana came down and scored a while ago, Benton's offense came back and answered to those points. So that shows that Benton's built a good level of confidence and intensity. Play action fake, back to pass. Eccles fires it incomplete. Had 2 receivers, don't know which one he looked for. Looked for Brent Black coming out of the backfield. And Michael Grant had an opportunity to catch it on the 5. Anthony Willis covering for Texarkana. So it'll be 2nd down and 10, still on the 18. You know what's good about this, John, and what the part I like about it, it makes football exciting, is that Benton now with a 13-point lead and down in what we call the red zone inside the 20-yard line, we're passing the football. Now that's exciting football. It sure is. 3.5 minutes to go. Near side hash marks. Eccles running out of the wishbone. Picks the ball up. He fumbled it. Picks it up now and moves to the 15-yard line. And Barry Johnson makes the stop for the Razorbacks. So 4th down now coming up for the Benton Panthers. And you have to think now they might go to John Graves on the field goal. Well, it's a possibility, John. Make a note about the exchange problem. I believe it's due to a heavy dew that has fallen here tonight, and the ball's a little bit wet. They're changing them out between every play, but I tell you, after that old ball gets saturated, it's hard to get it dry.
I'm sorry for you, 3rd down and 7 instead of 4th down. So 3rd and 7, ball in the middle of the field from the 15-yard line. Brent Black gets the call. He moves it down inside the 10 to the 8 for a Benton Panther 1st and 10. Nick Elrod brings him down and saved a sure touchdown. But that time, running low with the ball was the big 200-pound halfback for the Benton Panthers. He blew him out of the way for a 1st and 10.
I'll tell you, John, he's been helping Tommy Burton and Rico Land. That time he said, hey, Tommy, block for me. Tommy did a great job, Tommy Burton, of blowing out on the linebacker, and Brent just keeping his lean forward, did a fantastic job and went down for the 1st down, and Benton's in good position to score.
1st and goal from the Texarkana 8 with 2:31 to play in the game. Running out of the wishbone, middle of the field, Burton, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, Texarkana. Anthony Willis trying to stop him, couldn't keep Tommy Burton out of the end zone, and Benton has put away the Hogs now 36-17.
I can't help it, John. It's sure good to be home, you know.
It certainly is. I'll tell you what, we'll welcome John Denver to we'll play that song, no doubt. 8 plays, 40 yards on the drive, and the Panthers now have put the Hogs away. They can tack on their 20th point here, a 37th point, but a 20-point margin against Texarkana. They're going to go for 2, lining up on the wishbone, ball in the middle of the field. Here's the snap, here's the give. Burton runs into the end zone for the 2-point conversion, make it 38-17. We'll be back to C.W. Lewis Stadium right after this 1-minute timeout.
Never scored 38 points.
On Texarkana.
Oh.
John Graves to kick off for the Panthers. Ellison Warfield,
Well, the Panthers traversed 40 yards in 8 plays on that drive to take a 38-17 lead over the Hogs, and this is the most points that Benton's ever scored on Texarkana, Mike, 38 points. Here in the ball game. Squib kick looked almost an onside kick, that time by John Graves, and Texarkana covers on their own 44.
John, Dwight Fite has kept a promise to this football team. He told these boys this week that if they got out and got on a roll, he wasn't going to stop them, and if he tried to carry him off the field. You know, with the lead that we've got, you would normally think that Benton would go into a conservative style of football. We try an onside kick. Of course, it failed. But I tell you what he's doing. He's getting these boys pumped up to go into this conference, and they have showed tonight that they can play a level of football that they need to play.
Mike Cherry comes out on the field again with a needs a 21-point production here, 22 points to win this ball game. 3 minutes to play in the game, and he throws the first pass away. Actually, there's 2 minutes and 9 seconds to play in the game. The pass trying to get it over to Greg White coming out of the backfield, and so the Razorbacks looking at 2nd and 10.
John, we can tell, folks, even though it looks like it's over, to stay tuned because you're going to hear a lot of pass plays this next 2 minutes. As long as Texarkana's got the football, it's going to be exciting football. Even though I don't think they can come back and defeat the Panthers, it's still going to be a level of excitement that's fun to watch.
They send Ray Howard out to the wide side. To the near side is Aaron Formby. Ball on the far side, hash marks. Here's the snap, fumble, and Cherry falls on it. Bad snap from his center, Steve Harrelson. That has happened to him. He loses a yard, so it'll make it 3rd down and 12. They've lost 2. Derek Finney was covering on the play. Back to the 43 if we go now, almost the 42. So 3rd down, it's actually closer to about the 42 and a half. So 3rd down and 11 and a half yards to go to be precise, with 1:31. Now let's make it 1:39 to play in the football game. Ball on the far side, hash marks as Cherry comes up to the line. Split backs behind him, receivers to the left and right. Pumps once, drops back. Panthers in pursuit. He's going to launch one. Pass is over the head of Aaron Formby on the Benton 25-yard line. Flake jumper covering on the play. So now the Hogs look at fourth down and 11 and a half to go.
John, we've got a new defensive line in for the Panthers right now. McAdory, number 75. Derek Feeney, number 85 at nose man. And Darrell Bowman, number 77 at left tackle. Giving these young men some work in case they're needed later on in the season.
Cherry and the Texarkana Razorbacks in punt formation. Darren Adams going back to receive the punt. Cherry standing on the 30-yard line. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in the game. 38-17 Benton on their way to their first conference victory and a big win tonight over Texarkana. Cherry gets the punt away off the left side of his foot. Hits on the 25, down to the 20, down to the 19, to the 18-yard line. And Texarkana will down the ball as Parker Russell downfield quickly to down the ball on the 18. The Panthers get it back inside. 1 minute and 10 seconds to play in the football game.
John, that punt by Texarkana concedes defeat. Anytime that you punt the ball when you're down like this on fourth down, you're saying to everybody, let's just get this thing over with, and that's what Texarkana did that time.
So the Hogs defense checks in, and the Benton Panthers, Paige Eccles and company, come back out on the field. Tommy Burton, Brent Black, and of course Judd Fight. Now I take it back. It's Rodney Sanders in now at fullback, and they give the ball to Burton. He's out across the 20, the 25, the 30, the 32, and they can't bring him down. 4-5 up to the 34-yard line, and 5 Hogs piling on the big halfback for Benton trying to bring him down. 1st and 10 as the Panthers just blowing them off the field.
John, you're not going to bring Tommy Burton down by stepping to the side and trying to bulldog him. It just isn't going to happen. That young man's got too much speed and ability. Good run by Tommy Burton that time.
So Rico Land comes in as Tommy Burton comes to the sideline. The ball game winding down. They give it to Land on the 45, 35, the 40, and Land up to the 45-yard line. He would not be stopped, and another 1st and 10. Down to about, 39 seconds to play in the game, and the Panthers will move the chains once more. These Panthers act like they'd like to score again.
I believe they're doing their best to do just that.
399 yards now on the night, so the Panthers are going to top the 400 mark in total offense. They give it again to Burton. Burton slashing, takes it up to the 50, to the 48, and tackled on the 48-yard line. A gain of about 7 yards on the carry by Tommy Burton. And the clock is winding on down, and Benton now has called for a timeout. The Panthers, with the ball on the 49-yard line, are going to try to draw one in the dirt and come up with another 6 points.
John, it's just a fulfillment of a promise is all it is. Benton is going to go, unless something dramatically happens, Benton's going to try to score here late in the ball game. And really, it's not to try to run the score up or to humiliate Texarkana. It's got a little bit to do with last year's bad call by the official, I will admit that. But Benton, Coach Dwight Fight, is getting his football team ready to play conference play.
And an impressive victory tonight over the Texarkana Razorbacks. 38-17. Who would have thought it would be this big a margin of victory for the Benton Panthers? Ball in the middle of the field. Eccles handing off to Sanders, the 45. Sanders with a 1st and 10 down to the Hog 42-yard line.
John, that was just a smash mouth football, whatever you want to call it. We're down to 20 seconds left in the ball game, and now Benton's starting to pull their helmets off and waiting on the clock to start. We have now decided we've got a victory in our belt.
The clock will run out. 13 seconds, 12 seconds. Let's listen to the countdown. Now, there's not going to be one, but the crowd down to the 3-second, the 2-second, the 1-second mark. That is the ball game. The Panthers have won 38-17, and they have won in convincing style tonight. We'll be back to C.W. Lewis Stadium to wrap this ball game up. Let's pause. We'll be back in 1 minute.